to Ray and Bree Live. It is Thursday, December 1st, and it is officially holiday season. So excited.
I know. I love the holidays.
December is my favorite month of the year, so I'm really excited about it. And I'm even more excited that we have a big auction this weekend.
Immense.
Yes.
A big one.
So to kick off the season, we are selling over 1,800 lots this weekend in our mint and boxed auction. So in case you missed Black Friday, Cyber Monday, we're giving you a chance to get a jump start on some Christmas presents this weekend. So hopefully we can help you get some stocking stuffers for the soldier lovers out there, or some great pieces.
We have something for everyone, I can assure you of that.
We do. So we have not only over 1,800 lots, but we are also featuring over 75 manufacturers of soldiers. So we have anywhere from new soldiers to Heyde to Courtenay to Britons to...
You name it.
Yes. Basically, you name it. If you collect soldiers, we most likely have at least one set of a manufacturer that you're familiar with in this sale. So the sale begins tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and there is still time to bid actually. On Live Auctioneers, you just search Old Toy Soldier Auctions, and we will come right up. And then, so that day features various manufacturers, and then Saturday is day 2 of the sale, and it features Dr. Bill Voelter's collection, and that begins at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Sunday, we're featuring the Dale J. Pauwels collection, which also begins at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard. So along with online bids, we're also accepting bids via fax and phone and email. So you can definitely jump on our website, oldtoysoldierauctions.com, and you can find absentee bid forms. So we'll be accepting bids. So there's still time, even though the sale begins tomorrow at 1 p.m. So don't worry.
Never too late to put a bid in.
Yes. So we're ready. And with that being said, the reason why our sale is entitled Mint and Boxed is because the second day of our sale is the Dr. Bill Voelter collection, who he really loved condition. So all of his sets in this sale are originally tied, and he loved that. So we're going to start, because of that, I'm going to show our little catalog, so if you got one, you can still check it out online. But going with the mint and box theme, we're going to do a little, Ray is going to do a lesson on originally tied sets and how you can tell that they are originally tied.
Okay, so thank you, Bree. I'll give you a little seminar here. Basically, Bill Voelter was a perfectionist. He liked his soldiers to come the way that they looked when you originally purchased them in the store. So I just use this painter and ladder as example right here. And again, everything is about as close as you can get to the way it was originally manufactured. And one of the big requirements that Bill liked, Bree, was he wanted everything still tied in, again, the way that it came from the factory. Mm-hmm. Okay? And in this one, you can show everyone.
Okay, I'll pull it close while he explains it.
Everything's tied in. You can even see in there's a little slip of paper that was the packing slip that the inspector would put in the set after they inspected it. Now, what to look for? Here's what you look for. A lot of sets have been retied, okay? And essentially anything pre-war is almost definitely going to be retied. Okay. Because of that, the majority of Bill Voelter's collection is post-war, meaning made after World War II. Late 1945, 46, they were getting back into production again. Mm-hmm. And those sets were produced on a much larger scale. They were mainly made for export. They were selling them mainly to the U.S. because they were trying to raise currency right after the war. So they would ship them overseas, trying to get hard currency to bring back to prop up their economy. Again, a lot of sets have been retied. Post-war sets in general are stapled in. So the tie card is actually stapled to the back of the box. And that's very key. One of the things that we're looking at, or what I look at to determine if a set is originally tied, is I go right to the staples.
Okay. So I'm going to show you the staple close-up while Ray talks about it. So this is what he's discussing right here.
Okay, so when you look at that staple, there's a couple things. I'll look at the staple, and if you see it around the staple where it actually comes through the tie card, it's a very clean, precise hole. It was only put through once. When people retie them, you can actually unfold the staple, pull the staple out, retie the set, put the staples back in through the original holes. But what happens 98% of the time when you do that is it enlarges the hole around the staple. And there'll be a little wiggle room there. And then the other thing that you look at is the type of string that they used. Britons used a number of different types of strings over the years. But they almost always in general were black. Okay. Sometimes they'll be on the greenish black range. They can sort of go from a loose cotton to some of them almost will be like a wax material. So the precise type of string isn't what I always look for, but if it's sort of white or if it's an odd color, then it's definitely been retied. Okay. Now, the fact that something's been originally tied or not, it really only matters to someone that wants the very best that they can get for their collection. Again, you can't really collect pre-war sets originally tied because they just don't exist. So there's no way to go after them.
So what would be, I mean, this example, the painter's set, the difference in price between a set that was originally tied and a set that's retied?
Well, I get that question asked a lot. Essentially, being originally tied, I feel adds 10 to 15% of the value of the set. So one of the things that originally tied sets sort of exclude is I do not really recommend someone that wants to take the figures out of the box and display them. You really shouldn't spend the extra 15% to do that. There's plenty of sets, especially post-war. Out of all the post-war sets, there's maybe only 50 that I consider extremely rare. Most sets like this, Boy Scouts is a very common set. We can get it originally tied. You can get it, I think that we have another set that's not originally tied in the sale. The ladders is a little rarer. The painters and ladders is a little rarer. So that is difficult to get originally tied sometimes. But that's what the collectors of that, they sort of also, they similar to collectors of coins and currency. If you really strive for the very best condition, the very best condition grade, which Dr. Voelter did, mint, tied, and box is the best way to go. And in general, as far as collectibles go in general, that end of the market usually tends to hold up the very best. There always seems to be a very deep group of new collectors that's what they want. Because again, with post-war, which these are, you can get them in almost any condition grade. So it's more what you're willing to pay for the set. And if you want to get it mint, originally tied in the box, again, we have 630 sets on Saturday that meet that criteria.
That we do.
So it's really a spectacular collection, Dr. Voelter's. He spent a lot of time. He went to a lot of shows. He really scoured the U.S. and even England a little bit to buy the cleanest sets that he possibly could.
Yes, and I mean it's definitely a very unique collection as far as everything like Ray's mentioned and like we're harping on right now. But being originally tied, that's very rare to have an entire collection.
It really is
like that.
It's created quite a stir, so it should be a fun day.
Yes, so that will be beginning Saturday at 10 a.m. And with that being said, what we're going to do now is we're going to feature some lots and tell you a little bit more about them that will be for sale this weekend. And we are also going to be answering questions. So if you can see at the bottom of your screen, the questions come across. If I don't get to them or we don't get to them during the broadcast, you can continue to ask questions once it is archived on Facebook as well. And we go through and skim through and answer any questions. So
exactly.
With that being said, we're going to begin. We're going to start with our cover lot, which I kind of showed you very quickly before. But this is...
Let me show you the real thing. That's the real thing.
That's the real deal. So this is one piece from the Heidi Wild West set. It's one of the most dynamic vignettes that Heidi ever produced. And as you can see, the detail on it, I mean, the patina, it's beautiful. And that's why we've chosen to feature it on the cover.
It's really a very intricately built, again, dynamic vignette of figures of a cowboy or a gaucho on horseback. He actually has a pistol in his hand. He's going up against an Indian, and it's hard to see if you can show them, Bree. There's actually an Indian laying on the ground that's being trampled by the buffalo.
Right there.
The Indian actually has a knife in his hand, and then it's adorned with a couple other...
He is. I don't know if you can see that at all. Let me see if I can do it from this angle.
Couple trees on the side there. And one of the things I love about the Wild West set, this is the large scale, 60 millimeter, and we have about, how many pieces?
There are 33 pieces
33
in this
pieces in the set, and it's from the Wild West set. So that really only incorporates maybe about half of the figures that were in the Wild West, but this is by far the most important piece in there. Other things in there, Bree, I can take that, is there's a couple of vignettes here, and everything's shown in the catalog here, but these are two little duplex pieces of cowboys and Indians fighting hand-to-hand combat. I mean, I think those are just spectacular.
That is very neat. I have one at a time.
And one of the things that's really cool about this set is, okay, this was made in Germany right around the turn of the century. There wasn't a whole lot of information, especially in Germany, what the Wild West was like. Germans, they were sort of putting these sets together, so this was their vision of the Wild West, with palm trees and tropical plants. And this is one of the pieces going there. It's like like that big plant from Little Shop of Horrors.
It is. That is what it looks
Seymour.
like.
But that was their notion of what the Wild West was. Again, there were no photographs of it that could be found back then. So it was a lot of hearsay. So what I love about that set, it's one of the few times, in general, I feel that German toys are very precise. They're actually sort of scale models. But in my mind, this is purely a toy. It's like a fantasy piece. Nothing really makes sense. I don't know why the buffalo would be charging into the horse or how the Indian got below. But it's a beautiful, beautiful piece. One of my favorite sets. It's actually the last lot of our sale set tomorrow, Friday.
It is, lot 1601. So it's our last lot tomorrow. And it is just, as Ray has mentioned, but it's just a very dynamic display. When you have it all set up and you can set there's two little buffaloes.
And I wanted to show the difference. Okay, so the running buffalo is what you usually see. And that is rare, but one of the pieces that comes with our Wild West here is there's a buffalo that's standing. And in the set, there are only one of those that comes in every set. I believe there's about 7 or 8 running buffalo. But the standing buffalo is much rarer than the running buffalo. And they'll come 2 ways. This one's with the tail down, and then if you saw in the original vignette, the tail up.
It was up on him. Okay.
Those are the 2 different type of buffaloes.
So this set's fun to even, set up and play with and set the little buffaloes
and that's why,
up
even being a partial set, it's one of those that you can add a lot of figures. Now, 60 millimeter figures are difficult to get, but this would set up a beautiful Wild West display. You can mix it with all kinds of cowboys and Indians. It's going to be the highlight of the sale.
And have you ever seen that set with an original box or originally tied?
There are actually 2, no originally tied.
Okay.
Again, pre-war, too early.
Pre-war.
Getting back to that pre-war, just because of the nature of the string, it was just a cotton thread basically, it doesn't hold up. And that's why there's essentially no pre-war sets. Out of the tens of thousands of sets I've sold, I've maybe only had 5 or 6 pre-war sets that I thought were originally tied.
Wow.
You might get a couple that were sort of on the cusp, like 1939, 1940, but in general, they're all retied.
Okay. So that is the Heidi Wild West, lot 1601. And next we're going to move on to another Heidi set, the Airport. And this set was circa 1920, and it has 19 pieces. And this is the ticket office. There's a little searchlight on top, and this would have been battery operated, which I think is really awesome. And the set also comes with a plane that we don't have here in front of us right now, but it is pictured in the catalog and online.
And a plane, and there's like a telegraph operator.
Yes, telegraph operators.
There's a guy carrying a prop.
Which are very neat.
And a little prop there.
Little worker.
And then like on this tickets office with the control tower, there's actually a little on-off switch here. I was behind you, Bree. There's a little on-off switch, and it would actually use a battery inside, a very early battery. So they were way before your time, but they weren't Duracell. They were sort of They were a dry cell battery.
The Energizer Bunny?
No Energizer Bunny back then, unfortunately. And then this ticket office, this exact office, and you can see with the crease here, or excuse me, the crease here on both sides. This one it came from a famous collection. It was actually pictured in the Bert Ehrlich book, The Art of the Toy Soldier by Henry Kurtz. So this actual one. Just a real neat display, nice scale, beginning of avionics, great piece of history there. It's a really nice piece to add to any collection.
And it's also a neat set to set up as well. There's a lot of different pieces, which makes it unique, and there's, they come with it. So, very cool.
Great set.
All right, lot 1600. Next, we're moving on to lot 1592, which actually is set up behind us.
That's the big box
It's
behind
a
us.
very large Voelter set. It's actually 87 pieces in its entirety, and it comes with its original box. So it's the way we have it set up behind us is really just for display for live. So I'm not going to bring the whole thing closer to you, but we pulled a couple pieces out for you to see. And now this is actually called a demi-round set. And what that means is this is basically the figure that comes in between a full figure and a flat. So as you can see, I mean, it looks kind of closer to a flat when I'm holding it up close to you on camera, but if you were here, you can actually see that it isn't quite.
It's a couple millimeters thick, and that's the difference. A flat, it would be under a millimeter thick. So obviously there's a third dimension on a flat, but these have a slight roundedness to them, and that's why they're called a demi-round. And you can sort of see it maybe on these horses better here, Brie. I just love that piece because it's like
so
a girl
cute.
with a ball, girl skipping rope, a boy on a hobby horse. Woelter was the Viennese manufacturer, so it's Austrian.
Okay.
And I believe it's Mark, but it might be Matthew Woelter that started the company. It's very early, 1879. I think the first Woelter figures were produced. He actually studied in Bavaria. And generally where most of these started with is they would start as pewter smiths. So they worked with pewter. And there are some figures, you can find some very early figures that are made out of pewter. But then they went to, it's called Zinfiguren, which is a tin figure, which essentially was made out of lead. Now show them the horses here, because you can sort of again see the.
Oh, you can see it
You
here.
can sort of see it a little better.
So these are the horses.
It's a profile, but then go head on.
I'm gonna go head on here. So
And
you can see it there.
yeah.
Let me see if I can put it on white. Here we go. So you can really see it there, but it's not quite a full figure.
And then this is.
They're just so cute. I love the scale of these, and
Here, this is
the
a
whole
little,
set's
on
really
the
nice.
back of the Hanson cab there, because that's a great piece. Looks like a little hussar. So the horses go to this.
yes,
the
the horses
Hanson
go
cab.
on this. I'm just not holding them together, but
Great
it's
detail.
so cute.
Very, very early. Beautiful box set. This one, the tie card has been replaced on it. That's why it looks so pretty behind us. But these figures are fantastic. Woelter produced in a lot of different scales. They started, I believe, at 30 millimeter, and they went up to 70 millimeter. This is a 40 millimeter example. Day in the park, though. So, again, you can look in the catalog or online, but there's women walking with parasols with their gentlemen.
There are.
There's
Let me see
a
if I can show a little closer
bandstand.
picture. I might be able to while we're sitting here.
Yeah, there's a bandstand. There's people walking dogs.
Okay.
Yeah,
This
let's
is
see.
a little better.
Yeah, it's a big
It's
display.
really big. This is what we're talking about right here. So it's very big, and I know that that's even a little small for you to see. But there's trees, and yes, it's just a really pretty, cute park set.
It's really great.
It's really
It's
nice.
going to be another highlight. We sort of picked out all the highlights here, so.
Yes. So once again, that was lot 1592. So that's our Woelter set. Next, we're moving on to 1596, which is our CR French artillery supply wagon. And this set is actually 23 pieces as well. So we don't have all the pieces in front of us, but I will give you a closer look to this.
Okay, CR, Charles Rossignol, French manufacturer. These figures here, they sort of skirt between the toy realm and the soldier realm. So these figures are tin figures. They were die cut, meaning they were stamped in a die. They were then hand assembled and hand painted. as opposed to what generally people consider as toy soldiers, which were made out of a cast lead. This is a supply wagon in front, Bree. You have the artillery set.
Yes.
You can pick up in a little bit. Again, these are full figures, a little larger scale than most of the figures that you'll see, or especially the horses. But really great detailing. Look at
Here's
that with their
another
rifles
piece.
and everything. Again,
Yes, the rifles on their backs.
very early, 1895, French. It's a French artillery set. There's a limbered wagon that comes with it, an engineer's wagon, supply wagon. Really, really nice.
Yes.
The early French toys and French figures in general, in my opinion, tend to be very undervalued. The French made fantastic toys, but for some reason they don't tend to command the highest prices. But this set, still will probably get close to $2,000. But in terms of rarity compared to other things, French toys are very, very rare. They're hard to get in nice condition. And there's a good new book on French toys out too, and I didn't bring it out in front of me. But I do think it's a field that does have a lot of potential in the future.
Yes, very nice set as well. So next we are going to move on to one of my favorite lots in the sale.
All you, Bree.
It's lot 1589, and it is the Heidi Cat Band. So I don't know if anyone knows, but now you do, that I'm absolutely obsessed with animal bands. And they are just adorable. I mean, this guy's playing the bass. This guy's the conductor. I mean, and the scale on them is just perfect as well.
What's that playing?
That's the sax.
That's a sax?
So,
French horn, it looks like.
this one's a French horn. And
Bass drum.
the drum. So, they're just adorable. They really are. I mean, if you're a cat lover, like I said.
It's a little conductor on the bench,
And
but
then-
he's actually from a different lot.
So he is from lot 1590, and this is also, we call them kitties reading music on red stools. So he's one of 3, actually. And they all look very similar. But once again, I mean, he's kind of blurry when I'm holding him up here, but just
Well, it's small scale.
Yes.
But you're really cute set. They're called Heidi Nippets. Generally, Heidi in many cases is sort of used as a generic word for anything that's German or that you don't really know who the manufacturer was. It is called Heidi. It always refers to German, but most likely these were German. In Vienna, you will find a lot of these cast in bronze. Those fall into their own class. They're known as Viennese bronzes.
Okay.
They will essentially have about the same detailing, but it's a harder material. They were actually carved. And they can be very, very valuable.
Yes. So
That's your favorite.
it is. We also have
You
a
gonna bid on it?
bulldog.
You gonna bid on it tomorrow? Maybe.
We also have a bulldog band as well. So I don't have the
That's
lot
right.
number right in front of me, but
I think it's the next one or the one right before.
yes, it's right around
Right.
the kitties. So those are our Heidi little bands. Okay, and now I have one to demonstrate for you. This is lot 1594.
Demonstration. We were betting whether she was gonna be able to demonstrate this without it shaking.
Hey, it's
Let's
tough
see it.
crowd over here. Okay, so it's a German carousel.
Da-da.
Okay. So you kind of hold it up like this, and then you just spin it.
Perfect.
It's
Look
so
at that.
cute.
And the box is here, and on
Yes.
the box, what I love about it, it says the roundabout runs for about 5 minutes.
Oh, great.
So Bree, you hold that
Just-
there for 5 minutes,
Just stand here
and
for
we're
5
gonna
minutes.
test that theory.
Okay, this is the little box, and all of these little pieces actually hook onto the top. It's actually 3. Well, these hook on, and then this top is a separate piece as well.
It really does spin pretty good, doesn't it?
It does. Okay.
Fun
Okay.
toy.
It is fun.
Made in Germany. The box label actually is marked DRGM, which is DRGM on the labels. That's equivalent to the German version of patented.
Okay.
There is a specific date for that. I think it's like 1905 or 1907. So you could actually date this toy a little closer to when it was.
There are different scales of it, or is it just one of them?
I've only ever seen this one.
Okay.
So I've never seen another one of this toy. It is interesting that on the box it's in English, it's in German, English, and French. So obviously they were exporting it all over.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
But I guess probably most likely this was probably made right after World War One, would be my guess. They were sending it everywhere, either right after or right before. Fun toy.
Yes.
Again, small scale, sort of demi-round type figures.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Very good. Okay, next we're moving on to our, actually, I don't have a lot. Oh, lot 1597. It is the Britons Mikado, which is also going to be a demonstration, but Ray's going to demonstrate this one.
I'm the one that's going to pull the string. Okay, this is the Britons Mikado. Show them the box here, Bree.
Yes, so here's the box for this one. Sorry, it's backwards, but...
We haven't been able to figure out the backwards thing yet.
Yes, we're working on it. And has directions on here.
On how to use it. Let me give you a little bit and then you can tell me the directions.
Sure.
Okay, Mikado was a figure in opera. He's an Asian gentleman sitting here with a fan. It's part of what are known as the Britons gyroscopic toys. And we're going to have another one coming up too. But they made a whole series that work on a flywheel principle. Now this toy, just sort of to digress, this toy was sold by Britons. This toy was sold by Ives, which is an American company. Mm-hmm. This toy you'll see sold in Germany. I don't really know who made it. It's in a lot of different catalogs. There are slight variations. The sizes will be a little bit different. Who made it first? I don't really know. It wasn't Britons. Mm-hmm. It was either the Germans or Ives. But again, one of the popular toy, they sold a lot of them, gyroscopic toy, and he has a little fan. And where it is, basically the umbrella works as a flywheel, and there's a string, and this actually has the original string with it. That you spin around the top up here. You can also, you can do it either way. The top's easier. I don't know if it tells you on the direct. Can you read the directions?
It says the directions. Wind the thread round knob on the top of the umbrella and then pull it steadily.
On the top, okay.
I
thought you could do it on the, but you just pull it. And then...
It kind of works like a yo-yo, actually.
Kind of, yeah.
You know, when you drop the yo-yo. And I've seen this, a couple different versions of this one, and the fan will be different colors, I believe.
Well, the fan very often is missing. This fan is original. It has been reattached on it, but it is an original fan. The fan is the most difficult part on this toy to get original. That in the box. Just the fan, the nature of it, just was easy to push off. But that is one of Britain's early toys, part of the toy line. So now we have another gyroscopic toy, but
we do.
This is special.
But we have two items that are white glove items. So
like that.
White
gloves. Put those gloves on, Bree.
White gloves on, and basically because they're better items in this sale. So
we keep our hands off it, or at least keep her hands off of it.
Hey. Wow.
Here we go.
Throwing shade over there.
Hey.
Okay, so our first white glove item is the Britons Road Roller, which is right in front of me. It comes with the original box, and as you can see, it's just gorgeous. This actually is a separate piece, so this comes off of the top, and I'm just going to give it a little spin, and Ray's going to tell you a little more about it.
Now again, this is one of the early toys. There's a flywheel on it, works just like the Mikado, and we don't want to work this one. There are only, I believe, 3 boxed examples of this one out. And the Road Roller came in 2 sizes. This is the large version. If you see the little spindle by your right hand, Bree, that's where you would wind the string.
Right here. Okay.
Yeah, see right there. You'd wind the string, you pull the ripcord, the flywheel will spin, and if you were a kid, you would see how hard you could pull it. The harder you pull it, the farther it would go. You'd play with your brother, and within 5 minutes, the toy was probably destroyed. That's what happened to them. I mean, they were toys. But great piece. of early mechanical machinery portrayed as a toy. This was the height of technology. So this was your iPhone 7. This was what it was all about back then. Yeah, it was the beginning of the modern age. And
Yes.
it was a steam engine. Did all kinds of stuff that you used to have to do by hand.
Well, that's very neat. I really
Great
like this
piece.
one.
It's probably going to sell in the 4,000 to 5,000 range tomorrow.
Okay, so that was that. Actually, I'm going to show you the box as well.
Yeah,
so
because
this
that has
is
the
actually
instructions again.
this does have instructions. It says the miniature London Road roller. This mechanical toy is a model of the powerful engines, which are now so largely used to roll newly made roads in the suburbs of London. So there's a little bit more below that, but I'll just hold it up so that you can take a look at it. And it actually slides. There's a piece that slides across the top, and it fits right in this box.
We have a lot of clients that are in the construction industry, and it always seems like a construction guy ends up buying these toys. And they like it. So, I've sold a number of people that are in the concrete or asphalt business. They've bought this toy.
Yes. Well, it's a very nice toy. So this is lot $15.98. So that will be at the end of the day tomorrow.
All right, the super white gloves.
Super white gloves. Okay. We are going on to the Britons Rotary Railway Express, which is actually also one of my favorite lots in the sale.
It's the best lot in the sale.
It's-
There's 2 box sets now.
Okay. So I'm going to tilt it a little bit. This is not tied in, so I do not want to tilt it too far forwards. But as you can see, there's writing on this label as well. But what's really cool about this box is that it latches in the front. So these come sideways to hold everything in. So I am going to...
I'd help you, but I can't touch it because I don't have gloves.
Hands off.
I'm touching it.
No touching. Okay.
All right.
So, I'm going to start by showing you the locomotive and the tender.
Don't hook it together.
I'm not going to hook it.
It's small scale, very, very early primitive loco with a tender. Steam driven right at the beginning of the steam age. Beautiful condition.
They really are.
So we have the loco,
So,
the
loco.
steam engine, tender.
And the tender. And then we also have 2 railway cars that also hook together.
Those go behind the tender. Can I help you? But I can't touch it.
Thanks, Bill. I appreciate that. He said we're funnier than Big Bang Theory. I think that's a compliment. But yeah, so these are the railway cars. And how this works is there is a clockwork mechanism, and if I can hold it out of the box, and what you do is this piece hooks on top of it, and then the front of the locomotive will actually hook right on here. And we don't...
That's a clockwork motor in our left hand
Yes.
there. So there's a clockwork mechanism in there. You wind it up.
Yeah, so you wind it up, and then, like I said, the locomotive would be over here, and then what would happen is it would just pull the train all the way around in a circle.
Great toy. It's like the Blondin Cyclist, which we've had before, which is the high wheeler. They made a punch on a tricycle. They made, it's called the foot race, 2 guys running. Sort of all work on the same principle, but part of the early Britons toys. A lot of collectors, they just sort of specialize just in those toys.
Mm-hmm.
They go 1883 to about 1897, 98.
Okay.
So they're some of the earliest things that Britons sold. We believe that they didn't really produce any. I think they didn't produce any of those items really during that period. I think these were all bought wholesale and then packaged by Britons and sold under their name. But that's going to be the highlight of the sale, I believe. It's one of the last slots again on Friday.
Yes, it is a lot.
It's estimated, I believe, 6,000 to 8,000, and I think it's going to be in the 8, 10, maybe even 12,000 range.
Yes, it's lot $15.99, so end of the day tomorrow as well.
Good crossover appeal there. So train collectors like it, toy collectors like it, soldier collectors like it. So it covers a lot of bases there.
Yes, and when you see, have you ever seen this before?
I've never owned this. No. There's one pictured in the book, in Norman Joplin's book. There's another one pictured, which isn't this one. Those are the only two that are known. We've never handled one. Old Toy Soldier Auctions has never handled one. Myself, Ray Harridan's never handled one. So it's really a unique piece.
Yes, I love it. So
yeah, it's real nice. All right.
Okay, so we're going to slide that to the side, and with that, I believe those were all of the lots that we have.
Gloves
are coming off. Those are all the lots that we had to feature today, but we will still be answering questions. So if you have any more, feel free to comment on this video.
Yeah, like one of my questions is, who's your bodyguard back there? Who's looking over you?
Oh, that's George.
George.
This is George. He is my bodyguard of the evening.
He's very impressive looking.
I know you can't see all the way to the top of him because he has a really, really neat plume up top, but he is a 10th British Hussar, and he was made circa 1903, and...
The uniform was circa 1903.
Circa 1903, yes. Not him himself, but the uniform. And we are going to be selling some Militaria in some of our future Old Toy Soldier auctions. So George will be for sale in all his entirety. So everything that you see here,
all the accoutrements,
everything
from the Busby on down.
Yes, from the Busby, which I am going to grab so that you can see. And like I said, it'll be in a future auction. So we have George, and we also have a couple other uniforms that will be coming up in the future. So pay attention to the Militaria that we have coming up. And as you couldn't see back there, but you can see now, this plume is so awesome. and so this hat, I mean, it's just awesome. But
yeah, the Hussars, one of their characteristic things to their uniform is the Busby. This is a Busby. On the side, that's known as the Busby bag. Show the Busby bag there, Brie.
Yes, this is the Busby bag. And this would come in different colors. So this one's technically scarlet, which is what really denotes it along with the black and white plume as a 10th Hussar. But you'd also see it in various other colors: crimson, blue, white.
And white, yeah, there's a beige too, I believe. 11th Hussars. Yes, we're going to be doing a little bit more with some military uniforms, and we figured that George would be a good way to kick that off.
Yes, yes. And we also have another question from Bill, so I'm going to lean in so I can... any detail on the Bussler lots? What era they are?
Well, the Bussler lots. So we have a good collector friend of ours.
Whether it's original or modern.
The Busslers
modern
are...
paint.
The Busslers are original, but they're modern paint. They're all done in gloss, Bill. They're very nicely done. They're old figures that were probably painted by a collector of some sort, done in gloss. So they aren't the original matte ones that you're probably most interested in.
Okay.
Hope that
helps
you out.
And I think I'm gonna...
Are we signing off?
Yes, I'm gonna put this on.
There we go. There's our Hussar.
Check this out.
Love it.
Yes. Thanks, George. Hope his head's not cold back there.
George has about as much hair as I do.
He does. Okay. Well, with that being said, we look forward to seeing everyone online on Live Auctioneers tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. Once again, we start 1 p.m. tomorrow, and we're 10 a.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday. And we also would like to let you know that we have a YouTube channel now. If you jump on YouTube and search Ray and Bree, you can also search for Old Toy Soldier auctions or RSL auctions, and our YouTube videos that we are all archived on there. So every Facebook Live that we've done thus far, which I believe is 6 or 7 now, they'll be on YouTube. And our YouTube channel is entitled Toy Soldiers, Antiques, and Collectibles. So we feature more than just soldiers on there, and we talk about auctions and all kinds of different things. So definitely check and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And our next broadcast, speaking of
Look how
them,
adorable she looks in that.
I do not know how these were worn for hours at a time, but yes. Okay. Our next broadcast is December 22nd at 7 p.m. And that is going to be our holiday special. So we're really excited about that. I'm not going to reveal very much, but we'll send out
Big surprise.
we'll send out an announcement before that because it's going to be our last broadcast of 2016. Can you believe it? I can't believe it.
It goes quick.
Crazy.
But we'll be starting up again in 2017.
Yes, we'll be starting again in 2017, but last 2016. So we'll be signing off for the year on the 22nd. And I believe that's it. That's all we had today.
That's
so
it.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank
we
you,
really
everyone.
enjoyed it, and best of luck this weekend. Happy bidding.
Bid a lot.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.